We are using the LinkedIn AI interview for screening, for candidate screening. You can give it some customized questions for it to ask. They schedule some time with the AI, and they do an AI interview screening. It's wild.
I think we'll have a great opportunity when they're building automations, they're building all these use cases. Businesses will require those automations to be maintained. It could be a robot, it could be like a, really like physical AI to anything digital AI. There's so much opportunity that is coming.
I think it's going to change, how we maintained servers back in the day, and then still do today. Cloud has replaced a lot of servers, shifted to managing the cloud. I think the next iteration is shifting to managing the AI workloads and the AI design.
Welcome to AI by Design podcast. Brings MSP leaders into real, unscripted conversations about innovation that actually works. Hosted by Kaila, it's focused on turning AI into measurable business impact.
So my question for you is, what kind of experiences you have had with Copilot where it was, wow, I never thought of this? Because for this one, I'm like, oh man, I can always have a tandem interviewer with me and also coaching me kind of, if I have any blind spots or I'm missing anything during the interview, the person is making me, hey, don't forget to ask this.
I don't use a web browser anymore. I just use Copilot, another one, but I'm always in an AI now. One of the neat features and I actually discovered this when I was traveling and I was in my hotel room. And so I wasn't at the office, and I wanted to check in on the engineering meeting. So I went to, they had recorded it. And then of course, Copilot they'll give you the summary notes. But I noticed that if you look in the top right-hand corner of the meeting, you can play a replay of it in podcast style. And it's pretty wild. It's two people talking about like news style, this meeting that occurred at the office. It's just wild. They're like, it's really good. It's actually entertaining. I actually listened. It was a like a 7-minute synopsis or whatever, but I listened to the whole thing. I was like, and so now, like if I'm traveling and I can't make a meeting and I know that it was recorded or set up to be recorded, I listen to that podcast synopsis. It's way more fun to get it that style. And it literally, it says the people's name about so-and-so decided this, and, just like a news report, podcast report it's wonderful. The other thing that we just started, we are using the LinkedIn AI interview for screening, for candidate screening. You can give it some customized questions for it to ask. They schedule some time with the AI, and they do an AI interview screening. It's wild.
Talk to me more about that. So you said LinkedIn in connection with the Copilot, or
so it's a separate from Copilot, but Microsoft owns LinkedIn, right? So they're using their technology behind the scenes. When you post a paid job ad on LinkedIn, you can opt in to use their AI candidate screening, and the person actually has a conversation with the AI.
Got it.
Based on, questions that you would like to know ahead of time. And you just get through a lot more candidates a lot faster. So it just really speeds that process up, and you don't have to worry about how am I going to contact this person, or when, I can't get a hold of them, or I need to have my assistant do it, So that actually has helped us work through more candidates than we would otherwise maybe perhaps screen. Because then you can also screen, you don't have to feel quite as limited to who you screen. You can be like, yeah, let's see how they answer these questions.
Yeah, sure. That's a great use case. That can reduce so much work for the recruiters. So with what we did with the career page, to having like a web agent. Now that we are, so it's still in the testing environment, but what we are doing in terms of functionality, which will be released in the month of April, is we have the outbound call agent. So it doesn't matter, like if the position is open on our website,
Yep.
and it doesn't matter where it's being advertised, but the person comes from any kind of job portal, they come to our website to understand what other positions that are open. They basically, the way they will fill out contact us page, so they have like a very short application, and there is an option that, okay, optionality that we're giving to the candidate, like we are slowly transitioning where it's like, will just AI do the interview? Now you can say, yes, I'm okay with the AI calling me, and then AI will call them with the telephone screening checklist that we normally train the recruiter on. Telephone screening before you put it with the hiring manager. AI can just go through those questions and have that interaction, and it's trained with FAQs that normally recruiter will have. That if the candidate say ask this, you say this. That is really, really high impact use case in terms of your hiring process, saving a lot of time, and you probably get much better candidates, and your recruitment team is more focused on high payoff activities rather than just resume screening and doing the telephone screening. Anything else in terms of automations, anything internal or customer facing automation that you want to share with the world?
So we have a program that we've used called Process Plan, and it's a process automation kind of tool. It really helps when you're taking a process that hands off to multiple departments and you need to know who has the ball. And so when all of our like new customer onboarding, all of that's kind of process that you have to get right, because it goes from sales to admin to engineering and then back to sales or admin. So this was maybe about, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, they came out with an AI robot feature. And so it was very easy to use because they have a screen recorder now, but we just sent them a screen recording at the time. This was when we were just getting into the AI stuff. And we said, this is what we'd like to automate. And so what we ended up doing, and we ended up creating an AI robot user. He has an email address. He has a licensed login to our system. So the process starts with a human. It starts with a salesperson. And there's a certain set of things that we like to have for each new client. We create a client folder in SharePoint. We put some documents in there and do all of those things. Well, that was all administratively kind of heavy tasks and the salesperson could do it, but they'd spend 15-20 minutes doing all the paperwork and all that stuff. So I started looking at it. I'm like, well, that's really kind of ripe for automation or have an AI do it. So what ends up happening is when that opportunity, becomes to a certain point, it creates the customer's account in ConnectWise, sets up the contact, creates our folders in SharePoint. In order to get into ConnectWise, it has to go to its email to get its two-factor authentication code so that it can do a two-factor authentication into the ConnectWise system. So he's adhering to proper security. He then goes to SharePoint, creates all of those folder structures that we want to see. At a certain point, he then hands it back off to the salesperson to continue. But we had a whole chunk of process that was previously being done manually. Now the robot does it, and does it consistently, right? The interesting thing, and I don't think people have thought about this aspect yet, but the more you automate, the more you have to make sure you're staying on top of managing the automations. Yeah. So if you change your process, you have to reprogram the robot.
100%. It's just the way you create those Excel sheet links in the past that you have one sheet, two sheet, one thing changes, other thing breaks.
Yeah.
Right. The linking and the dependencies. So this is where what you're saying is really important, that having staying organized with what you're building, and then also understanding the connections, that if I make a change here, having some kind of change control process that what else is going to change, and also that maintenance, right? So that's where MSPs, I think, will have a great opportunity when they're building automations, they're building all these use cases. Businesses will require those automations to be maintained. Yeah, it could be a robot, it could be like a, really like physical AI to anything digital AI. I mean, those things needs to be maintained. Those things will require some kind of break fix, because this is where like I get into this overall back and forth with sometimes my MSPs friends, where they think that like MSPs may not get more business later on. I'm like, man, as long as MSPs are staying in that intelligence delivery, intelligence will require maintenance. It could be a robot at home, it could be a robot at an Amazon warehouse, it could be a robot cutting your hair. They will need maintenance, or our digital employees, right? Then we call it. You build a cloud core custom skill, you build any kind of artifact there. Those require basically constant maintenance. There is so much opportunity that is coming.
Yeah, I think it's going to change, how we maintained servers, back in the day, and then still do to, today, but cloud has replaced a lot of servers. We shifted to managing the cloud. I think the next iteration is shifting to managing the AI workloads and the AI design, right? I mean, I think nobody's really talked about it yet because nobody's been completely dove into it deep enough to, token exhaustion. You see it on like the free versions. If you want to play with all of these models, you have to have a lot of subscriptions to play with all of the models and to figure out, and if you start doing API hooks into them, you do run the risk of token exhaustion. What you don't want is all of a sudden an AI robot is running into a critical process and he runs out of tokens, right? That hasn't really happened yet, but I think, fast forward time a little bit and more of that will start. So we'll have to be re-architecting or redesigning, certain solutions that perhaps people implemented on their own in different ways of how to achieve the same thing. How do we design this AI and / automation to work together so that we're reducing our token usage instead of, exhausting it?
Yeah, 100%. And even LLMs, Keith, they go down. Sometimes Claude goes down, sometimes ChatGPT goes down, sometimes Gemini goes down. I mean, even those LLMs, huge companies, they will have always human beings kind of there to develop them, to fix them. And where they're being hosted in data centers, that's where you need to move some atoms there, physical, the hardware.
Or, closed box AI solutions, right? From, using AI in completely disconnected environments. Yeah. Like I see opportunity in there in that space as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. So Keith, if someone is listening to us and they're looking for MSP, where the MSP have really advanced their journey to the AI adoption internally and also helping customers, they're looking for AI trainings, they're looking for AI assessments, their maturity level assessment that you have been doing for your customers.
Yeah.
Where can people find you, and what are the offerings that you have today that are available to your customers?
You can reach me at Keith at a couple of gurus or go to our website, a coupleofgurus.com. We are doing an AI enablement initiative with our customers, and we can do that for a brand new customer, new engagement. What's unique about that is we don't actually need to manage your systems in order to have that level of engagement. We can start having those conversations about how your workflow is constructed today, and what opportunities are there in your organization. Because I think the gap that exists is there's a knowledge gap between the desire of, what the customer wants and and the technology is moving so fast. There's someone who's got to stand in between. That's one of the roles that we can play, is standing in between of, here's what's the latest and greatest that's come out that, we can take advantage of to achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah, Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for coming to my show. Truly appreciate you, my friend, and your partnership, your collaboration, your thought leadership. Truly appreciate you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Sonny.
Thank you for watching the AI by Design podcast. Stay tuned for more conversations at the intersection of AI, leadership, and innovation. Follow us on our channels, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.